like that while the show's going.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thanks for listening to the Android Experience Podcast. This is a show where we keep you posted on what's new in the world of Google and Android and share our experiences with the platform. This is episode 27 on Thursday, October 12th, 2017. I'm your host, Patrick Bergadamo, and I'm joined by my co-host, Bill Stebbins. What's up, Bill?
What's going on, Patrick?
And we're also joined by a special guest straight from the Boom Explode and other podcasts, Jeff Farina.
What's happening? It's been a long time since I've been here.
It seems like it was back in the simulcast days almost.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Have I done an Android Experience podcast? I don't think I have.
Maybe.
I'm thinking maybe
2 years.
Yeah. I think when we first started, we might have got you to come on for one of the episodes.
Yeah. It might. I don't know. It might have been Google Pixel like even a year ago. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure. Time flies.
Yeah. So we got lots, as you said, Pixel is the magic word. But we've got several things to kind of cover after last week's Google event. But first, kind of hitting up some app-related stuff. And I know you kind of tweeted about this too, Jeff. Movies Anywhere. Basically, is this basically going to be the one online service to kind of rule all your digital downloads and movies?
Yeah, I mean, it seems kind of what they're doing here is trying to take away ultraviolet, which I'm okay with. Ultraviolet, I personally had no problems with it, but I've known many people that have had nothing but issues. I guess the customer service was pretty bad, that sort of thing. I'm all for this. I put in our Allo chat today, so I connected. I wasn't able to get my Voodoo to connect yet. They were having a problem with the back end. I guess they have to fix it, but I got my iTunes library, my Google Play movies library, and my Amazon library all to connect via this service. But the really cool thing about it for me personally was most of my movies, let's say 85% of them are in the Amazon video library.
Mm-hmm.
The app on Android doesn't let you Chromecast because Amazon's being fantastic about that. What this did was when I go into the Google Play Movies app now, or Play Movies app now, I see my Amazon movies as part of my library, and I'm able to Chromecast them. And even further, I can actually turn on family sharing.
Yep.
Nice.
You can also, and for people who have a mixed Android, iOS family, you can connect it on both of those devices. If you have your, I did mine earlier and got the Voodoo to work. Is what I finally got it to work.
You did.
I actually got it to work before iTunes because iTunes kept giving me errors online. But now that it's set up, I mean, it's nice. All of the stuff in one place. The app itself will also let you stream from it, and you can buy it'll direct you to whoever you want to buy your stuff from, so you can kind of get whatever best price you want on stuff. But I mean, it's pretty, and it's got a lot of support. I mean, Sony, Disney, all of these are getting together on this. And so it might be a way to kind of finally, doesn't matter where you bought your content, you can watch it through whatever means you want or whatever your device supports, which is a big deal because as we were talking about before the show started, like with smart TVs, obviously Google Movies is on a lot of those now, especially the Roku-oriented ones, as well as usually Voodoo, but you're not going to usually get always Amazon, or definitely not going to get iTunes unless you have an Apple TV. And so to be able to now have all of that content through whatever your TV supports without having to cast or do anything else, that'll be great.
Yeah, that's
I agree.
Freaking sweet. And, we keep hearing, we all know at least 5 people that say that they're locked on a platform because they own whatever. And let's just say iTunes. I don't know if they buy all their stuff in iTunes. And now it may not eliminate all of it for them because there's still some studios not on board, but I'll admit, I don't understand people that still in 2017 are like buying music versus just paying to stream it. I'm not sure, how that business model is more advantageous for them. But me personally, I'm okay with paying for, a monthly subscription or whatever for that stuff. And then for the movies, I don't buy a lot of movies. If I want to watch them, I rent them. I'm not the type of person that watches movies many, many times, unless it's like Top Gun, and I bought that. But
I'm similar to that way. It's got to be certain movies like the DC Marvel movies. Those are ones I may want to watch again, especially if the new one's coming out. You go watch the original one. But to me, I was really happy because connecting the stuff from Play movies, all those free movies we got years ago, like Elf and stuff like that. Now it's accessible through all of my different streaming medias. And so, which, as we've talked about in the past, around Christmas time, when everything starts pulling it, to know I have it accessible through all of the different services. Plus, the other nice thing is the app itself easily makes it so that any of those movies you have through it, you can actually download them to a device to watch offline. And so it makes it easy if you're going on a trip. If you have a tablet, just download a bunch of those movies to your tablet, and your kids are good for the trip.
And like you had said, Disney being behind this, it seems like Disney, I don't know if they have stake within the company itself, but they're the ones that have kind of brought it to fruition in a sense. And having them there with the clout that they have, this seems like it's going to be successful. Like, knock on wood, this seems like it's going to be successful. I hope it's going to be successful.
Based on the email I got right before the show, I would assume they do have a big stake in it, because I got an email from Disney Anywhere saying that it's now expanded to include these other studios, and it's being rebranded as Movies Anywhere, so that you need to log in and create that account, because I think the Disney Anywhere is going away.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes more sense then. Perfect.
And so, I mean, it makes sense. They're getting everybody on board. Now, the Disney stuff, they may rebrand that later for that streaming service they want. So that might also be strategically why they do that. And then tie it into this, and you're good to go.
Yeah, it was sorely needed. I'm glad to see that finally happened. It was kind of a surprise this morning when I was looking at the news feed and I saw that Google actually posted this on their blog. So it's always interesting when that happens. And there's a few, if you sign up, there's actually a few decent movies that they give you for free. And I kind of was looking through what I have, which is probably 20 or so movies total. And a lot of those came from Google's free offers, where they just kind of give you movies periodically. Like today, one of the Amityville movies that's new is free. I don't know. I just went ahead and grabbed it. Thought I might want to watch it someday.
But it's like, why not?
Yeah, it's free. I mean,
and I mean, what's nice is when Disney first started doing the Disney Anywhere, they were given like Wreck-It Ralph, and there was one other one. Oh, Monsters Inc. Depending on if you got, I think it was Wreck-It Ralph if you signed up with your Google account. If you then went back with an iOS device and activated it, you got Monsters Inc. So I mean, those are classic movies. But the nice thing was, like you were saying, Bill, there's 5 movies. I think it's Jason Bourne, the Lego Movie,
something robot.
Big Hero 6, yeah.
Big Hero 6, and then I can't. Oh, the new Ghostbusters movie, which would be about the only way I watch it. And I forget what the 5th one is, but what was nice too, though, is like the Lego Movie. I was looking because it showed up in my Vudu. It's the 4K version.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you automatically got the 4K version of it because it was showing it with the yellow tag. So I'm like, okay. And so, I mean, it's a great idea, because that way, whatever service you're buying from, and like you said, Bill, if you were supposedly stuck on one service, this kind of sort of frees you, because I mean, obviously those are still going to be tied to that service, but it gives you a mechanism to use it on other platforms. So if you're a person who's been hesitant about using a Pixel because on the go you don't really have access to your stuff, well, now you have it. And I mean, this should also open up a lot of avenues for stuff on the Chromebooks.
Good point. Very good point.
With Play Movies. This next one, I don't know if I've seen the integration update yet on mine, but Google is basically bringing Duo integration into the phone, contacts, and Android Messages app. So if anyone's familiar with like iOS, the idea that if you're in your contacts, or if you're in the phone, or in your messaging, you have the ability to FaceTime somebody from any of those apps. Well, this is essentially Google is integrating Duo into the phone, contacts, and message apps so that you can video chat someone from any of those places. You can initiate one, which to me, that you kind of wonder why they didn't have it before, but to me, it's a great thing because if you want a video chat somebody, you shouldn't have to exit and go to another app.
Yeah, I have that now too. So it's going to be very handy. And I like that they're kind of pushing that. One of the interesting things with the Duo integration is that it actually will piggyback on video over LTE if your carrier supports that on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they support it on the Pixel. Probably not, but whatever.
I'm pretty sure I would assume Verizon would, considering they're the official carrier for that stuff.
Yeah, they probably do.
But I'm on AT&T and they probably don't. They hate the Pixel.
But they'll take your money.
Absolutely.
Well,
So
go ahead.
So the way this, I see it now. I was just saying the way this works, how do I exactly pull this up? I said, this is the first time I've actually tried it. And there we go. Cool. That's it. Live test.
Yeah. And I think if you long press on the Duo icon in the app drawer or whatever, you actually get shortcuts to call people too, which is kind of cool.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So,
yes, mine actually.
It now supports audio calls, which I haven't tried the audio calls, but I bet they're pretty darn good quality based on how the video works in Duo.
Yeah.
That's one of those apps that Google really got right because it's nice and simple and it works the way it's supposed to. And I don't think that it gets a whole lot of press like it really should. It's better than pretty much any video chat that I've used. And now that it's got picture-in-picture support as well, so you can be video chatting with somebody and surfing the internet if you don't like what they're saying or
you're ignoring your wife.
Yeah, nobody ever calls me, so I don't have to worry about that.
But I mean, if you think about it too, this kind of starts to slowly integrate everything and give them the means to get rid of Hangouts that people were complaining about originally.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's an interesting point because I think people are hanging on to Hangouts because Allo is so weird as far as how you kind of get people on there, and it's tied to your phone number, and it's getting a little better now that it's got there's a website that you can actually use it on your computer. I'm actually using a Google Allo for web. I don't know what it's called, but it's an application, but it's basically a web wrapper for it. And that actually works really well during the day for me. So, we've been using Allo, the last week or so, and I really like the way Allo works. I wish it was easier to get people on there because it's a much better client than Hangouts has ever been.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that with the integration stuff, it becomes more seamless so that you're not flipping between apps, which was, I think, my biggest pet peeve when they first announced Allo and Duo is like, oh, great. Now we have to go between multiple apps. And now having that integration throughout, it's going to be good. And with the voice calls, like you said, that may eventually kind of replace your Hangouts dialer.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. The kind of the last one, kind of speaking to your point, Bill, before the show about dumb drivers, we're going to be getting a do not disturb driving mode for the Pixels. That one of the accessibility things you could set is that when you're driving, it will turn off all your stuff, notifications and stuff, so that I could see like a parent, if you're using the parental administration controls to lock settings, set that for your kid.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I guess that's the way everybody's going, and I'm one of those people. As much as I use my phone and I'm addicted to my phone, when I get in the car, my phone goes in the cradle, and I'm not like surfing the internet, doing all that crap. If I'm at a light or whatever and we're stopped, okay, but I almost get run over probably 10 times a day by people. And every time I do, I look over and they've got a phone in their hand and they're like taking a drink of their big, 64-ounce Coke. And it's like, come on, people, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, the only time I try to ever touch my phone while driving is to bump it to the next song on Google Play Music.
Yeah.
And that's only because my truck is old enough it doesn't actually have the volume, the controls built into the for Bluetooth or anything.
Yep.
But
I'm all for it.
I mean, yeah, I think this will be a big one, and I could see people, their insurance, say, "Hey, look, activate this and show us that you have it locked," or creating an administrator thing where it logs in to set your phone to do those things to get a discount on your insurance.
That'd be nice.
So I guess moving to our big top stories, obviously Google had this like little event last week. I mean, I don't know if you heard about it.
I think I watched something about that.
I think we had an Allo chat dedicated just for that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we did. And that freaking rocked.
It really did. That's actually my first time using Allo too, by the way.
Me too.
Yeah. I like it.
I figured it was a momentous enough occasion to actually give the app a try. And kind of like you were saying, Bill, about the web chat stuff, I actually used it to use my MacBook Pro so I could have the chat up next to the thing going in the background for the event. And Jeff, you're the one that basically made it easy because you say, "Oh, here's what you got to do." Talking about the first time you'd use QR code in forever.
Yeah.
All you do is scan it, and it syncs it up, the app, the online thing, to be able to use it on your computer.
Yep.
So
what did y'all think about the presentation from Google? I personally thought that it was the best one they've done thus far.
I agree.
I think you could tell some of the speakers maybe weren't ready, or they were just a little too excited. But I do think it was, for the sheer amount of awesomeness that they brought, but then the way they also did it, I think it was easily the best event they put on.
And they really kind of built up. I mean, everybody wanted to see the Pixel 2. I mean, that was really what everybody was really excited about. But I mean, the kind of the whole gambit that they covered. I mean, they've got, oh, you want a camera? We got that. You want VR? We've got that. You want earbuds? Oh, sure. We've got those. It's like smart home. Yep. A new Pixel book, which, by the way, that Pixel book is really, really nice, but God, is it expensive.
Yeah. I mean, there were so many great things. To me, I think the whole connected home stuff intrigued me a lot with those. But I guess kind of starting with what we knew was coming, we got the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL. I'm assuming, I know both of you have ordered. And Jeff, you ended up getting two different ones, didn't you?
Yeah, Bill I wasn't even thinking about that. And then Bill talking about it kind of made me think maybe I should get one for my fiance.
It wasn't me talking you into it. I just said that trade-in deal is pretty killer.
I didn't even do the trade-in deal for myself. I messed up and I clicked past it for my own phone. So I have to sell my own separately. But
I think you'll be okay, because do you want to go ahead and just talk about the trade-in kit, which I actually have right here? Here, let me show you on camera. Here's the trade-in kit with the packaging that they send you.
They should have just gave you a paper envelope.
Look at that.
Oh.
Send your $800 smartphone back to us in this. Oh, and if it gets broken, I mean, it's like barely padded. It's got a label, and that's pretty much it.
The scariest part about that to me is the amount of money that the person who made that decision gets paid yearly. Still made that decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, at least you get your new phone first, so you can take a picture that your phone actually worked and was functional when you put it in there. For
the UPS or the Fed, what is it going, FedEx or UPS?
No, it's USPS.
Oh, even worse. They're gonna play frisbee with the thing.
Yeah, priority mail return service.
With the USPS, that thing might end up being somebody else's new phone.
Yeah,
I will say I think last show we did. What did we do last? Was it? I don't remember what we did. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, Patrick.
I think about 2.
I was talking about how Google was replacing my wife's 6P with a Pixel XL.
Mm-hmm.
We finally got it last Friday, maybe Thursday. I don't know. And so I actually the nice thing was I only had to return the device, not any of the accessories. And so I packaged it real good, put it in a box, and it went out USPS. The next day I got an email from Google saying, "Hey, we got your device. Thank you." So it may not be that bad, but it was in a box with like 2 inches of padding all around. I don't think I trust that envelope to send my phone.
No, and I guess my biggest problem with that is like for us, it's not as big of a deal because we'll just put it in a box. But part of making this phone so successful, or the Pixel, the upcoming phone so successful, is that they want the normal everyday average user to buy this, not necessarily the people who are as eccentric as we are. And they're just going to get that envelope, think, all right, it's fine. They'll throw it in. The casual, if you will, is how we refer to them in the gaming industry. And imagine how many phones are going to break, and it's going to get people some bad tastes for sure.
Or maybe Google is just really ready to write it off.
Yeah.
If they know they got you with a new phone.
True.
Especially because I could understand the need for them to really use this as an incentive to get people who had Pixels and Pixel XLs to sell, because not only does that get someone to upgrade, but it gives them a stock for refurbs.
Right.
People who just bought the Pixel and Pixel XL.
Yeah, and the price they're paying for trade-in is decent. It's like $400. You don't have to deal with trying to sell it on Swappa, and by the time I'm looking right now, the last recently sold 535 was a new one, 128 gig, like the 32 499 was a new one. There's no real I bet those are new resale ones, are the ones that people got replaced by Google.
Very well could be.
But by the
time you pay the fees and the PayPal fees and stuff, it's easier just to send it back to Google, get your money, and you're out of the hassle.
Exactly.
When you don't have the seller, potentially the buyer backing out, you don't have to worry about meeting somebody in a shady place for Craigslist.
Yeah. So I'll take the $50 hit or whatever just to
for the convenience
thing.
Yeah. In my case, I would, Jeff, I didn't just forget to click. I went ahead and kept my Pixel just because I figured I'd rather have it as a backup than my Note 3, because I made the mistake of giving away my 6P. But not only that, but it gives me an option, because with getting the Pixel 2 XL, I have a smaller one if there's a reason I need to have a smaller phone for whatever reason. If I'm going somewhere, I can just pop the SIM out and pop it back into the Pixel, and it's the 128 gigs, so it'll never run out of space.
Sure.
And it might just now be my new streaming remote.
That's a heck of a streaming remote.
So, I think the new phones look interesting. Bill, you went with the Panda edition, didn't you?
I did. That was one of my favorite devices. The 6P with the white with the black, but it had the black front, and I was kind of disappointed when the Pixel came out because it had a white front on the silver one, I guess. Anyway, we had talked about this, right? If you go back and listen to some prior shows, I said I wanted some kind of Oreo, Panda style, and that's pretty much what we got. It's got the black window on the back, black screen on the front, and then the white. And I think that's going to look really, really cool.
It also should kind of go show you that it was the first edition to sell out. Like, it was already out 7 weeks within 20 minutes of the first opening up.
Yeah, and we got in super early. I think I noticed it like right as it went live. And so we all got in, and I got a date a little later than you guys. But I think they're going to probably have, they've kind of hedged their bets that they're going to get them out sooner. So I've got like an October 31st date on my XL, but and I think if you order the black one right now, you're still like looking at shipping in 5 days.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to. Most people I've seen online, it was like around the 27th.
Okay, so my I've got a Pixel on order as well, so we can size all of our stickers and stuff for it, and that one ships in 5 days, which is, let's see, Friday. So was that Monday, Tuesday?
17th, huh? Tuesday.
It
should be Tuesday because that's the same day my XL ships is on the 17th.
Oh, I hate you.
But I got the black one, so.
I bet you'll have it 2 weeks before me.
This is true.
You big jerk.
I'm assuming did you guys all go with the 64 gigs?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so for the listeners, if you didn't pay attention for the event last week, the new options are 64 gig and 128. And to me, I think I've averaged maybe 20% of this, like 20 gigs at most on this 128 gigs. And like for the trade-in, it was only a $10 bump to go from 32 to 128. So I'm like, I'll just go at 64. That way, if I do trade it in, I don't feel like I'm going from $100 difference to $10.
Well, what did you guys think of the orange power button on the Panda one?
So them showing it on stage, on the background canvas they had, I didn't really like the way it looked. But now that I'm seeing some of the pictures come out, like the one, I think the guy that's on Reddit that got his already built, that's a white one, is it not? Or am I thinking of a different picture that I saw? The guy that's been posting saying,
yeah, I'm not sure.
I've seen, I guess where I'm going with that is I've seen some real world, if you will, pictures of it, and it's growing on me. I kind of like it.
I'm kind of thinking maybe if I go with an orange G logo to kind of tie that in, that might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
You could probably do. See, that's the thing. I'm kind of bummed they didn't come out with the blue for the XL.
Although I will say this, I actually like the blue from last year much better than the blue from this year.
Do you? Yeah. I don't know. I like the mint power button that they have, where it's like the the light blue, light greenish blue, if you will. I don't know, but yeah, Bill. Going back to what you said, I think that'd be a good idea. An orange G.
Yeah.
Bring that accent out.
Now, the blue one from last year though didn't have a white front.
Yes.
Yeah, and that always to me looked like somebody broke the screen and that was the only color screen they could find to put back in it.
To me, what would have been cool I guess for your point, Jeff, about the mint blue, would have been nice to combine the body from the last year's blue with this new light blue for like a front, like do a mix of the two blues.
That'd be cool.
Be like an ice edition.
Yeah.
Yeah,
people like those funky colors.
They had that bluish color for the Nexus 5 that I got, whatever it was called, Frost or something. I got it for my daughter, and it was really a cool color.
Yeah. What I'm trying to remember, wasn't there also like a limited edition red one?
That was the Nexus 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think and I think
it was like an orangey kind of red.
But I mean, the colors look amazing on it. I'm kind of interested to see how the squeezable side things work. To me, the impression I got was almost like a new version of like the old school programmable buttons on the BlackBerry, how it kind of gave you some functionality there.
I think that's going to be really cool. I kind of like that it's assistant, but I would really like to be able to remap that. And I bet it won't be long before somebody comes out with a way to remap that.
If not Google themselves.
Yeah. I mean, let me just, I want to squeeze the sides and take a picture or whatever.
Especially if it became like context based, it knows what app you're using and the apps would be able to incorporate some kind of functionality with that.
Right.
Hopefully the cases don't interfere with it.
Yeah. That'd be interesting. Although I know Bill, you went with the polyurethane one, huh? Or PC, whatever the hell it's called.
TPU. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually bought a 2-pack for like $7 off of Amazon. It's a Venvi or something. It's not the thinnest case I've ever seen, but I figured it'd be good enough until a company that, like the Nilkin that I really like comes out with one, or Minimal or somebody.
Yeah, I think I went with the one that was the LK or whatever.
Yeah.
I liked it, although I kind of liked the one I had for the Pixel where it had like the little bumps on the corner, which give you a little extra cushion for where the areas where it would normally fall if it slipped.
Yeah.
But what was kind of the funny moment was taking the Pixel with it having the TPU case that it has on it. I can almost perfectly sit it inside the Pixel 2 XL case.
Huh.
And so, I mean, but it's only slightly wider and only slightly taller. So, I mean, it's not like it's going to be a huge change, although the screen will be. I think my biggest disappointment with the Pixel was the fact that while the Pixel 2 XL got the less bezels, they didn't get the same treatment on the Pixel 2. To me, that was a big fail there.
Right.
I don't know why they did that, to be honest with you, because the price isn't that much of a difference. You know, it's not like they did it to keep the regular Pixel cheaper. So
I mean, and it's not like they couldn't have slightly narrowed it. Because I mean, the side bezels weren't bad, but like the chin, they could have still got the stereo front facing speakers, and still reduced in giving you even a little less there. I mean, you don't really notice as much on the black one, like on my Pixel. You don't notice it until you sit it next to the new XL. You can clearly see the difference in bezel.
Right.
But it is what it is. I'm looking forward to getting the 2 XL. It was supposed to ship, I think, on the 17th and be here on the 19th or 20th.
I'm going to come for a visit then, because you're closer than the Verizon store, buddy.
I need to figure out. I've got to have a thing where FedEx and UPS will tell me when I got a package being delivered. Apparently, there's a package being delivered on the 17th. I need to see what that might be. I was kind of going, maybe it's something. Maybe it's coming early. But the other thing I kind of ordered, which the other cool thing is, if you pre-ordered your Pixel 2 or Pixel 2 XL, you get a free Google Home Mini. But I wasn't ready to wait 4 to 6 weeks to get just the chalk one, which is what you get with the deal. So I actually ordered the was it charcoal, the darker one. I ordered one of those, and it's supposed to come in basically within a day of the Pixel XL 2.
Cool.
Although the fun story with that was the news that's been hitting lately, the people who got the preview versions, there was a defect with the touch buttons on the top, and it was basically recording and streaming stuff to Google constantly.
Yeah.
So that's
a little unnerving.
Although what's disappointing is Google's fix for it was to essentially say we're quote unquote permanently disabling those top buttons. So if you want to use it, you're going to just have to use your voice, which to me kind of defeats some of the functionality of it.
Yeah.
That tells me that was a hardware, not a software flaw.
Yeah. Or and the reason I say quote unquote permanently, it's possible it could be something they don't want to hold out getting it out there. And so they don't want to kill the sales on it either. So it's just like, we're permanently killing it. And then, oh, surprise, we found a way to fix it.
Yeah.
Although my guess is we'll be getting a Google Home Mini 2nd edition, the non-NSA fully functional version soon.
Could be. I mean, I rarely use the top tap thing for anything, and you can still adjust the volume and all that with it. So my big hope with this is that it'll work well so that I can put it out in the garage, and if I'm working on stuff, I can use that to control music or media or whatever.
Yeah, and I like the fact with the Connect Home stuff where they were integrating the stuff where you can send and tell like your kids, hey, dinner's ready, and things of that sort to make it all work seamlessly together. I figured I'll use the free one somewhere else in the house, and probably use the mini in the bed in the bedroom, somewhere I just want to access stuff without having to have a big speaker in the way. Speaking of big speakers, the other thing we kind of saw was the Google Home Max, which that quickly hit sold out. I think what was the final price on that? Like $399. $399. I mean, for what it is, I could see it justifiable. I mean, some of the functionality for it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming their big competitor would be like Sonos for this thing.
Yeah, I'd say directly a Sonos, as far as the quality of it. Obviously, the Apple HomePod too, that'll be a big thing. And even Bose, even though the Bose speakers aren't smart per se.
Yeah.
The big thing that's going to decide if it's worth the money or not is if it sounds good, to be honest with you. I mean, that's why people buy these. So.
Yeah. And I mean, to me, the stuff they were showing with that, the amount of effort they put in software-wise, where it actually checks the sound quality and adjust itself for you for wherever you put it automatically. To me, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that it's easy to turn. As far as design goes, they've been really killing it lately. I mean, like you had mentioned, Patrick, if you have it in an open room and then you turn it and have it face the wall or in a different corner of the room, it'll actually adjust the sound. But I also like the magnetic foot or the base that they have with it. You can put this thing vertically, horizontally, and it sounds stupid, but they really pointed out that you're not going to see the rubber feet. For me, that's big because I have Sonos speakers and they have the feet, and you can turn them, but they still have the feet poking out. It just looks a little out of place.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, and the good thing is it gives you customizability. So like if you have one in your kitchen and you can have it vertical, horizontal, it'll blend in wherever you want it to blend in, and it'll adjust for that type of room. But then it has all the other functionality of essentially of a Google Home. So, I mean, to me, but for the audio files and everything, that it's going to be kind of that next step. If you're, especially if you're a person like Bill, you've been preaching for a long time, like you said earlier too, for streaming. Why buy music? You stream if you have Google Play Music. This is perfect for that. If you're a person who likes to just stream music, or if you're on the weekend working out in the garage, working in the kitchen, whatever, you have good quality music and at your beck and call anytime.
Yep, exactly. And for the money, I mean, $50, heck yeah. I'm all about it.
Speaking of big bucks, we did get a new Chromebook, the Google Pixelbook, and the Pixelbook Pen as an add-on for it. Spec-wise, this thing is killer. I mean, this is the most blinged out Chromebook you'll ever see. I mean, considering the base option is an i5 7th gen, and you can go all the way up to an i7, and it starts off, I think, was it 128, 256, and 512 SSD. So, I mean, there's no problem with onboard storage, which if it has full Android functionality, that's even better, because the way it's been working in Chrome OS is you can't access external storage anyway. So, I mean, it has potential spec-wise, and I mean, Jeff and I were talking about this. I'm sure there's going to be a way at some point with that hardware you could pretty much dual boot even Windows on this thing. With an I series, and I think was it 4 gigs of RAM?
This has that's a good question, actually. I have to pull this because I think you can spec it up to 8 for the
might be, because I know you can do the hard drive up to 0.5 terabyte with the i7.
Yes, I'm on the page right now. So it's 8 gigs. 8 gigs out of the gate. 16 is the top of the line one. So why would you need 16 for it? Almost seems like they're going somewhere with this to me.
Yeah, and I mean, remember not long ago we had that whole thing, that rumors of the tablets, which would be Android and Windows 10.
Yeah.
So maybe this is going to be their way of kind of coming together on something. I don't know. Or, I mean, you could probably almost, with this hardware, you could probably almost make a Hackintosh too.
Yeah.
Because it's Intel based.
I'm starting to see a lot of, even Android Central has an article up right now. I'm starting to see a lot of people on Reddit, so different social networks and stuff. At first, everyone was like, $1,000, Google's crazy. I'm never going to spend that on something that just browses the internet. But it seems like people are starting to kind of, as they've had time to let it sink in, like you had mentioned, Patrick, where it's, there was the concept of the Android and Windows 10 tablet. I mean, this pretty much is replacing Android tablets at this point, whereas, it can run Android apps. You can get the I forget what they're calling the stylus, the pen or the pencil.
Pixelbook pen.
Pixelbook pen. How original. So you can get that to go with it. It's just, people who spend, Patrick, your iPad Pro, how much did you spend for that?
I think $860.
Right. So for an extra $130, you're getting a keyboard, an actual physical keyboard. This thing's made out of metal, just like the iPad, but you're getting an attached keyboard. And then just like the pencil, for $100, you can buy the Pixelbook pen, and boom, now you have a stylus to go with it. It's satisfying a lot of different needs, I think.
I think my only biggest knock with the pen is it's similar to my same issues with the iPad Pro. even if it works properly, it almost seems like an afterthought because you didn't incorporate it into its design. It should have been something even I understand them wanting to make it an aftermarket thing because you're already spending a bunch of money and you only buy it if you want it. But there's no incorporation of that into the Pixelbook so that you don't have to have something extra to carry it. That's one thing I liked about the Chromebook Plus and Pro is it had the Samsung pen, but it was incorporated into the design of the unit so that it stored itself.
Yes. And actually, I personally would love to buy a Pixelbook. I can't justify it. Just, I don't have enough use for it. I'd love to use it for work. I need to test how TeamViewer works because I need Windows. But the Samsung version, like you just said, the Pro and the Plus are half the price. And I really hadn't read too much about them before, but where I can put the stylus directly into it, that's really nice. I'll never lose it. It's thin. It's a convertible as well.
I mean, it's light. I mean, it's aluminum. So, I mean, I've got the Plus. I love it. Bill, I think your wife has one, doesn't she?
Has a what?
The Chromebook Plus.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, she does. Definitely.
I mean,
how'd she like it?
Use it every day.
I mean, the only knock, and Bill and I have talked about this, the only knock that I really have with it is I hate how Google has killed off like Miracast.
Yeah.
Because you have to have a Chromecast, which means you have to have Wi-Fi to cast this thing, which it kind of kills a big functionality for education. If you had some unit where you didn't rely, even if it was just a dongle that you could use, because I mean, they promised us that from the get-go. Oh, you won't need Wi-Fi. You can do peer-to-peer with Chromecast, and it never worked worth a crap. So, I mean, you got to give us something where you can do that, where you can connect to a projector and then display it. This would be, if it could easily do that without a lot of external equipment, wireless display with the Plus or the Pro would be a game changer for a teacher to be able to, because you can use the Android apps as well as the Chrome OS stuff. The only other knock I would say with it is, and a lot of this is Microsoft, but it's partly Google's fault too, because the Play Store is in beta, there is no Word and Excel app. So if you have a 365 Connect subscription, you have to use Office Live.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks.
I agree. Everyone says how good it is. I think the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have at least a dedicated app.
Yeah.
I mean, now rumors are that supposedly Microsoft was working on creating an app for once it becomes out of beta. But I mean, what incentive do they really? I mean, yes, it gets their stuff out there more, but it also kind of detracts from what they're trying to do with their cheap versions of these Windows 10 tablets.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's interesting. The Pixelbook, I mean, I have seriously considered picking up one, but I've got the Plus. So I mean, maybe after I see that it kind of let someone else beta test it for the price, make sure that Android's working right and everything. Also, I don't like the fact if it had some other way besides Google to cast it for wireless casting, I would definitely pick up one. But there's just too many knocks for the price at the moment for me to justify it.
It's so pretty. It really is.
I mean, the original Pixel Chromebook was bling, but this one definitely has. It's almost like a yoga. They're running Windows, running Chrome OS.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the Surface Book. I mean, minus the hinge, like the side view. Just I don't know. It just reminds me of the Surface Book a lot.
I mean, don't get me wrong. One of the big things with USB-C becoming more ubiquitous, there's a lot more things you can do with the devices, but they're going to have to give me some more functionality for that price.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. I mean, you got to start somewhere, and if nothing else, these might eventually become the developer model things. Speaking of like where it goes, the one that really intrigued me, and I know, Bill, you canceled your order, the Pixel Buds.
Yep.
I mean, am I happy with the style of the earbud? No, but to me, the geek in me, the fact that these things are going to be able to supposedly translate on the fly 44 languages was just too much to pass up to be able to mess around with. But I was actually explaining it to my boss before I left work today. She's like, so how does this supposedly work? What's cool about these is in theory, once you pair your wireless, your Pixel Buds to your phone, that you'll tap the side and tell it, help me speak whatever one of those 44 languages is. I think one of the things they said was Japanese. And that at that point it'll activate, and as they're speaking, your phone and the buds will translate whatever they're saying into your ear in the language that you want. And then when you speak, the mic on your buds will record whatever you're saying and translate through your phone and export out through the speaker in your phone in the language that you want to translate to.
Yeah, that was a crazy demo they had on stage. I mean, the possibilities there for when you're traveling and stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty insane.
I mean, I could also see this being useful for someone like in a situation where suddenly there's no translator and you need to kind of convey something to somebody. But to me, the reason they kind of said this became a thought for them was seeing and hearing the stories about kids at the Little League World Series sitting next to each other, each of them using Google Translate to say something and then translate it to the other language and back and forth so that they could carry on a conversation. And the idea was that was cool, but can we do it better? To me, this is the kind of cool stuff that I'm really glad Google's kind of going this way and taking like their Google Translate and finding ways to kind of make our Star Trek dreams come true. The universal translator. And so I am kind of disappointed that the buds are the hard plastic type, just like the AirPods and other ones like that. But for the ability to potentially do the translation stuff, I'm willing to deal with it. Just because, I mean, I'll probably wear something different anyway. But for that functionality, I was willing to buy it. They're supposed to my orders, I think, supposed to arrive the Monday of Thanksgiving week.
Cool.
So stay tuned for that, and we'll probably talk about that once it comes in. Speaking of you, I think you mentioned it, Bill, the camera. We got the Google Clips, which interesting idea. I think they overpriced the market for it, but the idea of a small little clippable camera that can record all your stuff. I mean, we've seen other cameras that can do similar stuff, so it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think the price will probably price it at that point. You're probably buying like a GoPro and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, that one's not coming out for a little while, and it sounds like what they showed was cool, but I don't think it's all the way complete yet.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to see what kind of functionality they incorporate, and no telling what it may eventually be when it does come out, if it does, because I mean, Google has also introduced this stuff and then dropped the ball. We also got the upgrade on the Daydream View, which supposedly increased the field of view and things of that sort to help kind of get rid of the screen door effect. It also comes with a higher price of $99. I mean, I didn't really feel like I needed to get one at this point yet. I still think I'm waiting for the standalone unit that doesn't need my phone to get overheated.
Yeah, I had the original, bought it with my Pixel, and I think I used it twice.
I mean, I used mine several times because I got it free with the pre-order, but it was just one of those, your phone would be screaming hot.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you really play some of the stuff, you end up playing it for long periods of time, and it's just not meant for that. They needed to come up with, I still think even with this upgraded version, they should have used some materials that would essentially try to wick away some of the heat from your device. Would have been a great idea. But I think we're going to have to get to the point where the technology as a standalone unit, kind of like I think what Facebook is pushing out the new, what is the
Oculus?
That it's a standalone unit. That's the only way you're really going to get rid of a true screen door effect and have it totally encompassed so that you can build in good heat diffusion, and then just have it pair with your device for networking and for content.
Right.
Yep.
But it'll be interesting. The one thing we didn't mention with the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL is one of the things we're going to get with that iteration is the Google Lens preview. The Google Lens stuff and Bill and you and I talked about it last show. I'm interested in that, the ability to to me, it was amazing to see the one where they took the picture of the kid at the baseball field and it automatically just removed the whole fence for them so that it was just like the kid.
I don't think that's a real feature. I think they just were trolling us.
I mean, I don't know. Some of the stuff they've done, I mean, I don't think it'll be done on the fly. It'll be more like something like where it processes for a while. But, I mean, the technology is clearly there to be able to do stuff like that. I mean, with Photoshop and things of that sort. So it'll be interesting to see what it really does and what function, because anything you can do software-wise to increase the photo stuff will be interesting. The AR sticker stuff wasn't like a big deal for me, but I mean, it'll be interesting to see what kind of functionality they do maybe from gaming standpoint on that one. And maybe Jeff will be telling us about that on Boom Explode.
We'll have to see.
So kind of getting past the event, and I think, Jeff, you had mentioned this before the show, Google has now invested in Neverware, which
yes,
they're essentially a company who takes these old Windows laptops and gives them new life by running Chrome OS on them. Yeah,
so they have, my whole experience in foray into Chrome OS is kind of a newer thing. I've known about it, but I haven't messed around with it too much. So is Chrome OS based on, is Chromium like the main distro that everything's based off of, or how does it work in that sense? Any idea? Because I know where I'm going with that is Neverware is running Chromium.
Yeah. My understanding is Chromium is is Chrome OS.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because supposedly the next iteration they were working on was that supposed Andromeda.
Yeah.
Was supposed to be kind of emerging like of Android in it, but I don't think we've gotten there yet. That is almost like vaporware.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I actually installed it. So this is my work machine that I have here with me. It's just a regular ASUS laptop. It's a E403S. It is slow and a piece of junk. Has Windows 10 on it. That's what it comes installed with. The thing's probably 4 months old. It's, from a hardware standpoint, it's nice, but from running Windows 10, it does not do it well. And I've optimized everything I can under the moon. Can't really get it to run too well. So I installed Neverware's version, which is, they call it Cloud Ready. Free to install. Basically, it's actually really, I know how to do this stuff, but for anybody who doesn't, it's perfect. You take a USB drive, you put it into your USB slot, you download the installer, you run it, and it actually creates a bootable USB drive to install Cloud Ready from. You can actually run it from the USB drive to start and test it out, and then from there you can install it right from there as well. It has a boot manager built in, so you don't have to worry about that either. So I have a dual booting now laptop. Everything works great. It's basically a Chromebook. I just can't get my laptop's touchpad to work because mine isn't one of the supported models. So I have to use a wireless mouse, a USB mouse. But this is really good that Google's investing in this. They didn't say how much, I don't believe. Somewhere in the millions ratio.
And I mean, I think for them, this will be another big thing, kind of like the Android One, where for the developing countries, there'll be a way to kind of get those out there and repurpose, getting people, because a lot of times people will donate old laptops for education stuff. This would be a great way to kind of not have to pay for new hardware, repurpose old hardware, and get Chromebooks out there to the masses.
I agree. My mom has an old HP laptop that I swear every time I go to her house, I have to help her fix because she broke something on Windows. So I think I'm going to install Cloud Ready, or basically make it a Chromebook, because all she does is go on Facebook anyway. So
I was about to say, for especially a lot of people, that's why like a lot of them get iPads. All they need to do is surf the internet and go on Facebook.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting. Kind of a public service announcement to the people out there, or our listeners who are T-Mobile customers. Apparently there was a hack and your customer info may be out there.
May is the new way of saying it. Definitely is.
Yeah. And apparently some of the stuff they have is your name, your address, and even the numbers off your phone. So, especially with GSA, that can be bad because they can clone it.
Ooh.
Because they have basically your IMEIs and your IMs. Was it IME for GSA? So I mean, sure. It's not good. Whatever. Speaking of kind of deals, I don't know if you guys saw this in there. Right now, the Google Store has the Google Home for $109. It's marked down to $109, and Costco is actually offering a 2-pack for $199.
Huh.
And I actually ordered before I left work. I ordered me the 2-pack for $199. So I don't know who yet, but somebody's getting one for Christmas.
Hey, that's what I did last year too. It was like, I think it was, what were the deals last year? Wasn't there a buy one get one at one point at Best Buy or something?
Something along those lines.
Spread the joy. I mean, that's how it gets better, right? That's how Assistant learns, is from people using it. So,
and you have people you can call.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, to me, it makes it a great deal, and along with the Mini, to incorporate all that into it, it'll be great. And then kind of the final thing is Google has come out and let it be known that the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL will be getting 3 years of operating system support. So that's a year extra than what they kind of guaranteed in the past.
That means whoever gets my Pixel 2 XL will have 2 more years.
Your wife?
Maybe. I don't know.
What's the current Stebbins household device situation look like, if you don't mind me asking?
We have 2 Pixel XLs and a Moto G5 and a iPhone 6s Plus.
Okay.
Yeah, my oldest daughter's rebelling. So now she gets no tech support.
No tech support for you.
I don't. What's wrong with my phone? Call Steve Jobs. He's dead. Exactly.
Just like your support service.
Reboot it. That's all I know to tell you.
Hey, sometimes that works.
It worked for you.
It did. So that's kind of the biggest news we've got. Kind of move to our picks from the panel. Jeff, you got a pick for us?
Ooh, my pick, yeah, because I want to spread the joy that is the NVIDIA Shield TV. That's going to be is this like general pick from the show, or is this pick in general?
Just in general.
All right, yeah, NVIDIA Shield TV. When I say show, I mean the Pixel announcement. Yeah, the NVIDIA Shield TV. I bought this thing back in, maybe January, February. And it's probably one of the best tech purchases I have made in like 5 years. I'm not going to lie. I mean, the Pixel, obviously, hands down, and Android phones before that have been pretty good as long as they were Nexus devices. But this thing, I use it every day. We use it for Plex. It can be a Plex server built right in if you'd like it to, but I use it to stream Plex. Use it for all of our movies. It's a Chromecast as well, so we actually use YouTube TV now instead of cable. So we use that to watch TV with. I've been playing Android games on it. I just absolutely love this thing. I mean, it is $200. Actually, I think they just dropped the price to $180 to combat the new Apple TV. But it'll do 4K. It just does a lot. If you're in this ecosystem, this is the way to go, in my opinion, as far as Android TV goes.
Heck yeah.
Nice. What about you, Bill?
I've got 2. I finally found a smartwatch that I wanted to pick up, and I got the LG Sport Watch. Or LG Watch Sport, I guess, whatever it's called, with LTE, which I'm not paying for LTE on a watch, but I could if I wanted. So it's a kind of a big watch, but the screen's great on it. It's super fast. I'm getting good battery life, about the same as what I was getting on my first gen Huawei watch. It has wireless charging. It's waterproof. Or water resistant. I forget what it is, 67 or 68. And then it has Android Pay. So yeah, it's been really good. I've had it about a week. I got it on Amazon. It was like, I don't know, $250 or something. So I haven't quite made the leap to sell my first gen Huawei, but I've been wearing the LG Watch Sport every day and really enjoying it. And then on Xbox One, Forza Motorsport 7 came out. I got it last Tuesday. I've played it once, but it's freaking awesome. If you're a car person and you like racing games, there is no reason you should not buy that game.
Might have to take a look. I haven't played any racing stuff in a while, but I do have the One X coming. So
yeah, October and November are really expensive months for me.
And then December hits.
Oh God.
When you sell the kidney.
Yeah, because I have one of the Scorpio edition One X's coming.
Me too.
And I don't have any 4K TVs in my house yet. So
oh boy.
Ka-ching. I think I'm gonna probably swap out the family room TV and move that one to the garage. It's kind of what my evil plan is, but guess we'll see.
You have a membership to the big what the hell you call that? Like Sam's or Costco?
Yep.
Because I'm sure they'll be having some deals. I know Sam's actually had a really good deal. I almost bid on it. It was a 60-inch Samsung 4K, basically the 60-inch version of this one. It was like $720.
Wow.
And so, I mean, it had the Bluetooth and everything 4K. It was the 6300 series. So, I mean, which is good enough for what I need.
I think I have the 6 series 65-inch Vizio right now in the living room, and it's been fun. I mean, I don't have any complaints about it.
Yeah. See, and you're a HD Home Run Prime person, so hey.
Yeah.
And does your I don't know if the 42 is the same as the 55, but does yours have the what do they call it? The in-between box. So you plug everything into the one box, and then that's what goes to your TV. I think it's like the Smart Hub, Samsung Smart Hub, or something like that.
No, I know what you're talking about. No, this one doesn't have that. This one actually has the ports on the back.
Yep.
For the 43-inch. Because that hub thing is also how they do for their wallpaper ones, because they have a thin wire that goes up to it, and then you have this box.
It's convenient, Bill. As far as the Samsung models go, it's like the old Pioneers, how they used to have the one main box. If you're trying to hide stuff like Patrick just mentioned, it's definitely a good way to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Although the only reason I didn't bite on the one for the 60-inch for the living room, I'm still thinking at some point I'm going to just bite the bullet and get the LG OLED.
I was going to say go OLED.
The only problem is that they do potentially go out sooner, and I will say, the QLEDs look pretty badass too for Samsung.
Yeah.
The super black, but yeah, the OLED, that's just, you see that and you're just going, I want. So my pick, I kind of went easy on this. The Movies Anywhere, I've already used it a few times today. So to me, like we said earlier, just the ability to kind of access all my stuff from one place, it actually gave me some of the stuff I had previously claimed when the first time I had an iPad. I had got the deal of the day thing on Amazon. It was the Lord of the Rings extended edition, which came with all of the digital versions too. So now I have all of those back where I can play them on any of my platforms. So it'll be a great way to kind of have those for everywhere else. So let's let everybody know where we can find us. Where can we find you, Jeff?
The best place to find me is just Twitter. It's at Jeff F, GEOFFEFF. And that will bring you to all the other places you can find me too.
Yeah. So we usually let people know what podcast you on these days.
Yeah, so I'm hosting the Boom Explode podcast. I think it's like the third rendition of it now, if memory serves correct. So it's either second or third. So Clay, just like this, he's made a pretty good aggregator, if you will, for us to basically put all of our shows on, a good central source. So we do that every month. We talk. Unfortunately, now it's mostly PC gaming, but Evan Schaefer was on last night's show, and he's going to become a regular now. So he and Jake play more than just PC games. I've actually migrated away from Xbox, unfortunately, as of late, but they can talk more about PlayStation 4, Xbox stuff, Nintendo Switch stuff. So it brings a lot more diversity to the show. We do it every month. Usually it's the first Wednesday of the month. And yeah, it's the Boom Explode podcast.
Sweet. So where can people find you, Bill?
I'm easy. Just go to @BillStebbins on Twitter. You can find me hanging out there, kind of posting stuff with no responses.
Don't mute me, Bill. Don't mute me.
Yeah, come there and argue politics with me, please.
What do you call it when you subtweet on a podcast?
I don't know, but it's the truth.
That's what it's called, the truth.
Hashtag the truth. And for me, you can find me on Twitter at AXP_Patrick, of course, here for the AXP podcast. And I promise we're about to record another episode of the simulcast. We're going to get with Donnie and figure out a time to do it.
That's right.
So if you're listening, we will be recording again. And you can also occasionally catch me on the Tech Talk podcast. So in closing, you can find us by simply searching for Android Experience or TekSide in your podcast client of choice. You can also subscribe to our show in Google Play Music or iTunes. Please take the time to leave us a review and comment. Alternatively, we also have a link for our non-Google Play Music and iTunes listeners, which you can find right here in the show notes. We also have a Patreon page. This gives our dedicated and loyal listeners the opportunity to support this podcast as well as the other TekSide podcasts for as little as $1 a month. If you'd like to support us, visit our support page at patreon.com/TekSide. Leave us a comment on Twitter at AXP Podcast or email the network at axp@tekside.net. Check out our website at tekside.net/AXP, and also be sure to check out our other great podcasts, blogs, photo galleries, and the TekSide store at tekside.net, including the Boom Explode podcast. And we thank you all for listening, and goodbye and good night.
Good night.